Renaissance Unity, all is well? And all is in divine order. Maybe I'll just stand. Now, I want us to just center our hearts and minds and just be still for a moment. As you stand there and just challenge yourself right now to just be still. And let's just affirm this affirmation. Let's read it together. I am an open vessel for divine wisdom, guided by the universe's abundant love. I experience this abundance and so it is. I want you to look at somebody next to you and say, I think I know the way. You may be seated. We just completed another month of the year 2023, and we journeyed to this place called August. Uncharted waters, right? Nobody's ever been in August 2023, right? Raise your hand if you've been in August 2023 before in your life. So first time in uncharted spaces. And I just want us to know that although we're in uncharted spaces and we're in the back half of 2023, I want us to have the upper hand on the remaining ones to make sure that we experience the life that we want, become the person that we want, to do the things that we want. That's where I want us to be. And so there's a question, Brett, that I want to ask. But I don't know if I have the right to ask you this question. I don't know if we're close enough for me to ask you this question. Because sometimes when you ask people this question, they get offended. Sometimes when you ask people this question, they clam up. Sometimes when you ask people this question, they just ignore you. Sometimes when you ask people this question, they'll tell you the opposite of what you asked. So I need to ask you if I have permission to ask you a question. Do I have your permission to ask the question that I want to ask of you? Is everybody okay if I ask you a question? Raise your hand if I can ask you a question. Keep it raised if you're okay with me asking you a personal question. Being in your space. Okay, all right, so that's everybody. So my question is, what do you want for you? I mean, in August, in September, in October, in November, in December, what do you want for you? Now, Reverend Wilma, Reverend Brett, and I spent the month of July trying to get you to focus on removing the debris, the distractions, the disruptions from your past. Remember that? Move them away. Clear the walkway. Clear the runway. Forgive. Forget. Remember that? Forgive, heal, love. Can we say it together? Forgive, heal, love. And the brother over here said, Reverend Glenn, I was tested this week. And you came to mind. And I said, I'm going to forgive because I'm healing, and I'm going to love them. And I almost made it. So I got some work to do. And we all have some work to do, right? So he's not alone, and I'm not alone either. Forgive, heal, love. Forgiving and forgetting those things that were disappointing, they were devastating, they were disturbing, they were times that were caused by you or someone else. But now it's time to release and let go. Can we just say release and let it go? Release and let it go. So you can go to a higher level. Those things we realized they were draining our energy. They were causing us to perform with a low gas tank. They were causing us to have limited, blurred vision because we were holding on to them, looking in the rearview mirror instead of moving ahead and looking forward. And so I need you to do something for me. Can you just yell out, move on? Move on. Move on. Because it's about to go down. Me and my boys, when we're getting ready to do something that really is challenging to us, we'll say, hold on. It's about to go down. Anybody ever say that? You just brace yourself because that big moment has arrived. And you're saying to yourself, it's about to go down. Can you say that to yourself right now? It's about to go down. No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's about to go down. Now that relates to Revelation, 3rd chapter, verse 2. I think it's something good for our spiritual perspective advice. And in that chapter, it just says something. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain, that you are ready to let die. For I have not found your works perfect before God. Now, what I want us to focus on in here is I just want to grab some of the words here, if we can, and just use it. Strengthen the things which remain. Can we say that together? Strengthen the things that remain. But examine that. How do we look at our lives after those devastating, destructive, disappointing moments? And we look at ourselves and we say, I've been through the tough times. I've been through the rough times. I've been through the lean times. I've been through the lonely times. I've been through the sick times. And I just don't know what's left. But I want to challenge us this morning to just look a little bit closer. I want us to just think about what remains and have faith that there's some good things still inside of you. Would you agree? So I want us to repeat this together. See the good, feel the good, nurture the good, reveal the good. That's where I want us to stay right now. I remember as a kid, one day we were in the kitchen, and my mother yelled out, and she said, hey, who threw away the ketchup bottle? Who threw away the ketchup bottle? And it sounded alarming, doesn't it? Hey, who threw away the ketchup bottle? Who? Who would have the audacity to throw away the ketchup bottle? Who? Was it you, Brett? Was it you, Wilma? Was it you, Leah? Was it you, Adam? Who threw away the ketchup bottle? It was alarming. It was shocking to her because she began to lecture us on, I know you can't see what's inside, but there's a lot left in that bottle. So don't throw it away. And so I'm prophesizing this morning that through all the things you've been through, there's a lot left inside of you. There's a lot of good still in you. So I'm talking to somebody right now, and it could be more than one person who's been dealing with some things, and the things that you've been dealing with are things you thought that would have been ended long time ago. I didn't think I'd be in this situation this long. Can anybody relate? Am I the only one who can say that? I didn't think I'd be in this situation so long. I've been in a problematic, troublesome relationship longer than I thought I would be. I've been nursing a broken heart longer than I thought I would be. I've been grieving the loss of a loved one longer than I thought I would be. I've been dealing with my or my child's bad behavior, bad addiction, longer than I thought I would be. I've been dealing with unemployment or underemployment longer than I thought I would be. I've been dealing with challenging financial situations longer than I thought I would be. Can anybody relate to those things? Longer than I thought I would be. I thought I'd be in a different career path, have a different job by now. I thought the business, the career would have taken off by now. It's taken longer than I thought it would be. And we all live in that space. It took longer than we thought, but we got in a situation, and now the question is, how do we navigate ourselves into the space where we want to be? How do we take our lives higher? We need to connect, because this is the moment where we find ourselves in a pit. And the darkness of the pit makes us believe sometimes that we're living a pitiful life. And when we think we're living a pitiful life, we give ourselves a pity party. You see what I'm saying? It's pitiful, pity party. Can we say that together? The tongue twister, pit. Let's do it together. That's a church community, right? Pit, pitiful, pity party. And that's what sometimes we find ourselves. But let's go back to Revelation chapter 3, verse 2. And we extrapolate again the message, the advice, the instructions. Strengthen the things that remain. And like that ketchup bottle, there's still a lot of good in you. But we got to get it out. It's the same thing as a mayonnaise jar. Who hasn't taken a knife and worked those corners and those crevices? And before you know it, there's enough mayonnaise in that seemingly empty jar for a whole sandwich. And the bologna tastes better with mayonnaise on it. And so we know, strengthen what remains. And how do we get strengthened? We know. One of our favorite verse, Philippians 4:13. We're strengthened through the Christ. And it's through that Christ that we open the door and say, help me, please. Now, we got something even better than just laying on Philippians 4:13 and the Christ that strengthens us. We got the Mastermind Journal. And the Mastermind principles, in those 8 principles, we want to go to that principle that we talk about so often, but not enough. You know which one I'm talking about? Step 6 of the Mastermind. All of us by now, this time of year, should have our Mastermind Journal. And step 6 says, I ask. I make known my specific requests to my mastermind partners and willingly receive the support and affirmation that my answers are being revealed to me. Remember that? Can we say, I ask? I ask. Now, today, my responsibility is to decode this step for us. Because a principle is not worthy of being a principle if we don't understand the principle. So if we don't decode the coded message within the principle, we can't apply the principle. Do you agree? And so my job today is to help us decode step 6. I ask. Can we say that again? I ask. The I in ask. I ask. I ask, period. Look at that. Take that back, Donnie. I ask, period. In writing this, I'm sure Leah Beck and Linda Purrier were very intentional in putting a period after I ask. It's complete. It's a complete sentence. I ask. Both of them are incredible writers, and so I know by them placing a period after I ask, it means I is complete. I trust him to know that it is complete. And so we have to then decode this. Let's go about that. What does the I mean? My need. Can you hear me? I means that I'm about to do something. I am about to do something. We go back to what we said before, it's about to go down. Meaning I am about to activate the Christ that lives within me. I is, again, that declaration of intention. We talk about it all the time. The intention, the intentionality of our life, the purpose of our life, being very intentional with our life, our time, our talents, our treasure. I represents the I am. Can we say that I represents the I am? Now, let's go a little bit further. I ask. Let's decode ask. Ask means what? Ask means I'm about ready to get my ask in gear. Is that right? No, I'm serious. Y'all got some dirty minds. We said I means I am, mean I'm going to activate the Christ within me. And so we say ask. Ask means I'm getting ready to get my ask in order, meaning I'm going to activate my ask, meaning I'm going to get my ask in gear. And what does it take to get our ask in gear? To get our ask in gear, we must understand that ask beautifully connects with Matthew 7, verse 7 through 8. This is when Jesus reveals the sacred truth of the code. Jesus says something that transcends time and space, energy, transcends the mind's understanding. And in Matthew 7, 8, it says, ask and it will be given. Seek, you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Now, if I was going to take a marker, if I could reach that high, I would say you take that ask, seek, knock, and you understand that the A in ask, the A in ask, and then the S in seek, and then the K in knock is ask. Now, so we got to break this down because some people mistake this and they say, I ask, and they leave it there. I ask. I prayed about it, I meditated about it daily, and now I'm just waiting for it to come to me. But no, that's wrong. That's a fallacy because that I ask is incomplete if you just think it starts at the asking. Get your asking gear. And so the parts of that are I ask, I seek, and I knock. Can we all see it? Is anybody offended? If you're offended, you probably don't have your ask in gear. Now, it's the boldness of the ask that matters. It's the audacity of the ask that matters. It's saying, I want something, and I want it so bad that I'm going to put it out there to the universe, to the world. Because what happens? As I use my words have what? Power. It's the power of the word. And so if I don't verbalize, express, use words to ask, then it all stays inside of me. And I ask you that question, what do you want for you the rest of the year? In August, September, October, November, December. If you don't know, then how can you make a good ask? It's the boldness of Jesus saying, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask. And so right now you need to be thinking about, what do I really want for me? This has nothing to do with anybody else. This has nothing to do with you controlling someone else's life. This is about you, me, myself, and I. Can we say that together? It's about me, myself, and about the I in me. And the I is watching you if you watch yourself. All eyes are on you, but it's your own eyes. That's not Tupac, Adam. You little rapper. But think about that. So it's to ask. You got to ask with boldness. And then it's the courage to seek. Seeking he shall find, but it takes a lot of courage and curiosity to seek the mysteries and challenges that life presents to us. That's where we have to be. Curious and courageous. Can we say that? Curious and courageous. I want to be curious and courageous. And then we look and we say, the persistence to knock. If that door appears to be closed, it's a persistent knock that gets your attention. Who's that knocking at my door? Who's knocking on my door like that? You ever had that situation? It's irritating after a while. And so after a while, you have to answer that knock because you know they're serious about making an entry through that door. And so it's the persistence of faith that matters. And if you're afraid, we always tell you to faith away your fears. That's what we have to do constantly. But it's through that persistent faith that it all comes together. I want us to affirm something in this moment. Now, I am a brave seeker of divine truth. And when we say this, I'm a brave seeker of divine truth, we're saying to ourselves that I boldly ask, I wholeheartedly seek, and I persistently knock on the door in search of guidance. And it's through that divine guidance that all things become possible. Can we affirm this together? Can we read this together? I am a brave seeker of divine truth. I boldly ask, wholeheartedly seek, and persistently knock on the door of divine guidance. The entire universe lovingly reveals the answers, leading me to a life of abundance, purpose, and spiritual fulfillment. This is one of those affirmations. If I had a cell phone, I'd take a picture. If I had a Polaroid camera, I'd take a picture of it. If I had a photogenic memory, I'd memorize it. Because it's just that serious. We got to get our ask in gear. And when we get it in gear, we move forward boldly with the intent of going places we've never gone before. This is not Star Trek. This is our life. And we're called to live it at a higher and higher level. So just remember the power of asking, the power of seeking, the power of knocking lies within each and every one of us. Just like that ketchup bottle, that mustard jar, there's a lot more inside of you. Strengthen what's left. And I bet you'll find out that like that Maxwell House coffee, you're good to the last drop. Thank you for having me this morning, Renaissance Junior. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.